isn't everything just a lesson? We try to learn from it so we don't get burned by that stove again. But no, everything's not just a lesson. Unfortunately, it's not. It's like you don't need your arm chopped off to teach you a lesson. Is that a lesson? I know a lot of war vets that lost their legs. I'm intertwined with a lot of vets, right? I have vets in my family, the whole bit. And losing both your legs is not there to teach you a lesson. We can certainly try to grow from it and learn from it. But it wasn't done on purpose to teach us a lesson. Child abuse isn't there to teach a child a lesson. So yeah, no, things aren't there for a lesson. That's not how it works. We can try to grow. We can try to better ourselves. We can try to rise above it. We can try to use tools to rise above it. But it wasn't there to teach a child a lesson, child abuse, and it wasn't there for a soldier who's trying to do something good. It wasn't there for that soldier to lose their legs. Being killed isn't a lesson either for us to learn. Abuse of any kind for someone isn't a lesson for us to learn. That's not a lesson. We're not supposed to learn that as a lesson. But it happens. Lorraine L. says, people try to rationalize bad stuff as it being a lesson. I know they do. And those are usually the people who try to deny that darkness exists. You know, they're like, there is no darkness. There is no bad in the world. There's no bad in the world. It's like, what bubble are you in? Because there's plenty of bad in the world. It's not all lessons. Well, it's all lessons. And even people don't mean to be bad that do terrible things out there. It's really a learning lesson. And we're all just learning. There's no evil in the world. There's no darkness in the world. There's only lessons in the world. Totally inaccurate. I can tell you this, that what I've learned my whole life since age 4 and listening and talking to Spirit of Compassion, what I've learned from SOC is that God does not cause our suffering on purpose. So, darkness here on the planet wants us to suffer. God is doing everything in God's power to stop that.
Factors are involved, including free will. And that's why people then blame God and the angels for doing nothing. They think God has a magic wand and should be able to fix everything with one wave of God's wand. Yet God, at the beginning, created a set of laws. These laws surround the existence of free will. Change one of these laws, and the fabric of free will becomes altered.
All right, so that's a really powerful piece of information all on its own right there, okay? And so I want to talk about, like, what leads that to, what leads us there anyway, okay? So, to begin with, there's only so many of God's angels. That's just to begin with automatically. Then you have a portion of the angelic realm that fell. That portion of the angelic realm that fell, okay, it's a smaller percentage. It's still a lot of angels, okay? And then you have the angels that are falling. They really don't want to jump. They don't want to jump to God. They don't want to jump to somebody in strife. They want to make the decision really kind of like if they want to even help. They're in the process. And angels are not outnumbering God's angels, but yet there's so many demons involved working for the fallen angels, and not every demon works for a fallen angel. And there's so many demons involved that work for the fallen angels. doing their bidding, really tangling things up down here. Do you know anybody that you think might have some demons behind them? Have you ever met anybody in your life that you think might have some demons around them? Have you ever met anybody in your life that might be influenced by demons? Like you can tell there's how demons work. Demons don't want you to know any of this. That's how it goes. With personal issues, including relationships, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. So it works like this. Demons don't want you to really know anything because that's how the game is played. So we just walk around all kind of stupid down here on planet Earth. That's how it's supposed to go. So we end up, running into all kinds of problems like addiction and so forth and everything else. I mean, everything from suicide to addiction to just hardships on even a basic, minute level. Bullying is demonic all on its own. So we're not supposed to know, though, that demons play a role in it on any level because that would be against what demons want, because demons want this to be secretive. They want this information to be, unheard, unknown, so that we just go about our business. Here, no one understands how many factors are involved, including free will. And that's interesting, including free will. And that's why people then blame God and the angels for doing nothing. So when something happens, and why didn't God stop it? Why didn't God fix this? Why didn't God stop this? It's the thing I think that also really breaks Christianity in so many ways, because there's so many people, they're Christians, and then something happens in their life, and then they have to choose their faith. It's like, do I stay a Christian? Do I believe in God? Because why would this happen to my son, my daughter? Why would this happen to my uncle, my aunt? And what happens is that, like, if there's a God, why would this happen? If there's a God, why would God let that happen to me? Okay, I could see God letting it happen to somebody else, but not me. So what happens is, people, they go through this process, this brain screw about God and about Jesus and about their faith, the religion. And it doesn't even have to be Christianity. It could be something else. And they go through this whole thing. It could be another religion. It could be another faith. Okay, so just using that as an example. And they go through this process. And they're just like, why didn't God wave his magic wand? And so they get really upset. And free will has something to do with a lot of this too. Free will that the angels have, they have free will, and that's a whole other thing all on its own. So no one understands how many factors are involved, including free will. And that's why people then blame God and the angels for doing nothing. They think God has a magic wand and should be able to fix everything with one wave of God's wand. Yet God, at the beginning, created a set of laws. These laws surround the existence of free will, and that's a problem too, because God created all these laws based around free will. And Spirit of Compassion was telling me all about that, and it just blew my mind. Change one of these laws. You guys hear that? Change one of these laws, and the fabric of free will becomes altered. And that's another thing all on its own. But we're supposed to all sweep that under the carpet, right? We're supposed to just think that's just crazy people or something like that. And yeah, somebody could be an evil person in dark, like I said, and be a very cold-hearted person, but demons they can really do some serious damage with all of this. Annette says, I have never understood why demons in the family attack those who seek peace and harmony. Now it makes sense, and I have doubts whether my family is too harmful to my daughters. I think what happens when, your consciousness, it's like really opened up, when you hear like the whole thing, like get your third eye open and, and you meditate and get your consciousness, geared up and, all the things and do all the self-help and all that stuff. And that's all great, but I mean, it's all great and all, but without the information, we're still left stranded. I think that this is a world changer. And that's the thing. If you don't have the knowledge, how are you going to know? How are you going to know? Same thing about if you don't know why you're really, truly sick. If you tried every biohack, you're still sick or whatever it is, you're just not past it. It's a mystery. Until you know why you're sick, you're not going to heal. You have to know why and how you can address it. And in this situation, on a spiritual level, this information, it's like you learn how this is happening or how something's happening out there. You have to have the knowledge in order to address it and take it head on and heal and bypass this information and jump ahead, be free from it, free from demons, germs. That's an empowered thing all on its own, an empowering thing. Knowing their true name, germs. Why, in our everyday lives, do we experience so many heartaches? A lot of people are suffering. They don't understand why horrible things are occurring in their lives. They feel something must be behind this. It's important to understand the realm that's very rarely seen by the eyes. In all these decades, I've been asked about angels, asked about the afterlife. I've been asked about demons. To understand demonic forces is to understand injustice and deception and trickery. By the end of this original audio, you're going to understand the forces at work in our lives. You're going to be awakened, and you're going to understand how to regain your power to help protect yourself and your loved ones, so we can play our part in stopping demonic forces in their tracks like never before.